Here we are. So, Raniero, the floor is yours.
So thank you, Martina, for this introduction, which has, I think, set very high expectations. Welcome to our Libyan friends. Some of you, I can see some names in the audience, which I have been working with for maybe 10 years now. We had our first project. It was called the Enroll project. It was led by University of Calabria, and it involved, I think, at least 4 Libyan universities. We already had a training session on European programs back in Tunis, I think 1 year back, but that was more oriented to the contents of the programs. Here today, I would like to focus more on the practical process of setting up a proposal, writing a proposal, and things like that. So we will focus more on the let's say, technical issues of accessing the portal, downloading documentation and things, than on the scientific content. We are not so much. I have selected one, of course, one topic which is a scientific topic, research topic, but we will not focus so much on the scientific and technological content, more on how to access the documentation. We will look at important documents that you can download. And I think it's important for all of you, either scientific academic staff or administrative staff, to know where to find the right documents, how to read them, and things like that. There are, as you probably know, there is what I call the European Union jargon, the dialect they speak. Yeah? There are some words which have a specific meaning, which is slightly different from the normal meat. For instance, just to give you an example, when at the European Commission they talk about international cooperation, it refers to what we are doing now, meaning by that the interaction and collaboration between European organizations and organizations which are not in Europe. When you see international, it means they are talking about the relationships with other countries, whereas when it is only in Europe, it's called the transnational. Okay, so a project with Italy, France, and Spain is transnational. A project with Italy and Libya is international, and this is very important, as we will see later on, also when we search for the information. So I will now share my screen. I have prepared some slides which I want to share with you. Of course, we will send you all the documents I will use during this session, the slides and the other additional documents. I have here a small problem of visualization. Let me see. No, it doesn't work. Sorry. Probably. No way. Okay, I will have to work like that. Okay, no problem. So I hope you can see my slides.
Yes.
But I can see them very. Le vedo malissimo. Che diavolo sta succedendo?
Noi le vediamo bene, però sono molto...
Sì, ho capito, ma io ne vedo metà. Yes.
Eventualmente prova a convertirla in PDF e l'apri come...
No, c'ho tutti i link, non posso farlo.
Ah, ok.
Cioè, ho paura di perdermi. Grazie, Federica.
No, di nulla.
No, now it works. Okay. So, whenever you write a project proposal, you have to follow a number of steps, okay? These are the main steps, and then we will look at many of these steps more in detail. So you start with identification of the project idea, then you identify a specific call for proposals. What we are going to focus on today is to download the most relevant documents related to the call for proposals, the analysis of these documents, analysis of anticipation feasibility. You have to, I strongly recommend, some of you have already attended this, but we are going to see it from a different perspective. What I mean by analysis of anticipation feasibility, you have to analyze a number of criteria which tell you whether it is a good idea to submit a proposal under the specific call. At the first glance, it might be that you think it's a good idea, that you have chances, but you have to verify that you are not wasting your time on something which will not produce any positive results. And then you prepare a proposal summary, you start the partner search activity. You want to share the responsibility of writing the proposal with your partners. You collect some formal documents, proposal writing in collaboration with the partners, finalization of the full documentation set, and final check. So this is the whole process. And we are going to focus, I would say, on the first part. We will not have the time to go through all of these, but I will give you the key elements for the first part, which allow you to have in your hands the relevant documents. Now, there is one thing I have to say. As you probably know, there is a very big difference between being the coordinator of a project or project proposal and being a partner. Especially, not especially, but this starts at proposal preparation time. In the case, for instance, of IPTICAR, the coordinator is UNIMED. So UNIMED has driven the process of writing the proposal. We started from your needs. It was a request which came from the Libyan university, so we didn't invent it. We tried to answer a need, to match a need which came from you, okay? But then we decided all together that it would be a good idea to have UNIMED as a coordinator, and then we drove the process. In Horizon Europe, it is exactly the same thing. You need a coordinator. Now, we have always said that for a Libyan university which has never participated in Horizon, it would be probably not a good idea to start as a coordinator. It would be better to try and join an existing proposal, an existing project, so you start getting into the mechanism, and then with time you may in the future become a coordinator. However, this presentation is seen from the eyes of a coordinator. So this will show you what kind of information does the coordinator need, what kind of cooperation does the coordinator need, and so on and so forth. And also, this allows you to look for the proper documents and see how it works. All right, so this is very generic. I always recommend to start with the project idea, which is suitable for your university, must fit with what you want to do. It must be feasible within the given constraints. Each organization has several constraints in terms of what they can do, what they cannot do. You always need a very high level of innovation, especially in Horizon Europe. It must be very, very innovative because the competition is very tough. And then you start looking for a call for proposals. Why am I insisting on this? Because sometimes the approach is, I have seen a call for proposal published by Commission, and I invent a proposal which would match that particular topic. This is normally not a good idea. You must start with your own priorities and bring them forward. And also, I have heard people saying, there is this call for proposals. Let us find some partners in the first place, and then we build the proposal, and we define the objectives. I don't think this is a good approach. If you contact some potential partners, some other universities, asking them whether they want to participate with you, the first thing they will ask you is, okay, tell me what you want to do. Okay, where you want to go, what are your objectives? So I'd rather start from the definition of project objectives, a precise idea, and then you look for a path. Now, the first thing that you have to do when you approach the European Union portals is that you have to get an ECAS account, a username and a password, which allow you to access the portals. How do you do that? You go, it's very simple. You Google participant portal. I've done it so many times that it comes on first, but if you write participant portal or funding and tender portals, you have access to this very fundamental. We will spend most of our time today on the participant portal, okay? I would like to get rid of this bloody thing, but okay. This is the main port. Well, there are two main portals, one for Horizon Europe and one for the calls for proposal. This is the portal for the calls for proposals, okay? So the first thing that you have to do is to get a username and a password for this portal. It is your personal one. You can use, of course, the email of your university. You can use your private one. You do what you want. But you have, first of all, you have to register to this portal, okay? Now it's telling me, I already registered this morning, logged in this morning, so it tells me that I cannot do that because I'm already logged in. But if you are not logged in, this is what you get. So you write here your name, your family name, your email, you confirm the email, you tick this box, and you click on create an account. You will receive an email with a temporary password that you have to change and write a password which is meaningful for you. Okay, so this is how you get the ECAS account. And we will see in a few minutes what is it for, okay? So you get a username, a password, you write it somewhere. It's like your bank account in a safe place. Can you mute your phones when you're not speaking, please? Martina, puoi mutare I microfoni di tutti, per favore? Tranne il mio, ovviamente.
Sì, ho fatto.
Grazie. The second thing that you will need is the PIC of your university. The PIC is Participant Identification Code. If you are participating as you are in a European project like IPTICAR, you definitely have a PIC. The PIC, your administration will know. Anyway, it is written in the proposal, so you must have your PIC at hand. And then, of course, you have to select a call for proposals. So I went back, we are going back to the participant portal, to the funding and tender portal. You click on, you see here you have all the European, I would say 95% of all European projects. I'm looking for Horizon Europe. I click on Horizon Europe. Here I have the structure of the program, which I already illustrated last time. Pillar 1 is excellent science, is more let's say, academic research. Pillar 2 is industrial competitiveness, is more applied research. It says industrial, but here also universities are very, very welcome. And the third one is Innovative Europe, which is more on the innovation side, on using research results for practical purposes. So we normally focus on Pillar 2 when we talk about universities. And I click on Search and Funding and Tenders. Now here I could insert some keywords, but because you are what they call a Mediterranean country, please follow me. I have this box here which says cross-cutting priority. I get a list. You see here it says international cooperation. It means that there are about 70 calls for proposals which are open to international cooperation. However, international cooperation means cooperation with all the world outside of Europe. So it includes the Far East, Latin America, China, etc. We are Mediterranean. So there is a specific priority here, which you see Mediterranean, you see, and it tells me that there are 15 calls. So I click on Mediterranean, and here I have 15 calls. Now, of course, these calls, some of them are open for submission. You see it's written here, open for submission. Some of them are forthcoming. Forthcoming means that they will be opened in the near future. One of the good things about Horizon Europe is that it gives you a programming, the future programs for about until the end of 2024. So here we already know that these calls will be published in the near future, and they tell us when they will be published, okay? For instance, here, Innovative Community Integrated Photovoltaic Systems, it will be published. I click on this, and it says, you see, planning opening day, 7th of September 2024, and closing date 21st of January 2025. It's 1 year, in 1 year time, okay? But I can already, maybe not now, but for instance, in July, in August, I could already start preparing my proposal because we have all the information that we need. We have the content of the topic, we have the rules, we have the template application form. So you can start working on this, okay? However, I want now to work on an open call. So, where is it? Sorry, I have to do the procedure again. I lost the page, but this is a good thing because, as we say in Italian, repetita iuvant, it's good to repeat. Okay, here we are. So this was one of the calls, but it's not the one we want to work with. I want to work with an open call. And in order to find an open call, I go back to the selection here. And I had selected one which I thought was quite interesting, which was because in this project you are talking about environmental issues and things like that. There is one, this is one call. Best available techniques to recover and recycle fertilizing products from secondary raw materials. Now, what is it? It is called Coordination and Support Action. A coordination and support action is a project which is not properly a research project. You don't do real research work. You do some work which is in the area of research of innovation, like for instance collecting best practices, trying to to spread knowledge and things like that. We will see that in a minute. Okay. The opening date was the 17th of October, so the call is open, and it will close on the 22nd of February. Okay. Now the important thing is that here we have the description of the topic. They provide us with the information about the topic. I have it's not very user-friendly to read it on the portal, so I have copied it to a Word file. So, successful proposal. Okay. You have to deliver recommendations to policymakers and stakeholders on the alternative fertilizing projects able to balance nitrogen and phosphorus flows within the ecological boundaries. I'm not going now, as I said, on the scientific content. Here we are talking about recycling raw materials for for obtaining alternative fertilizing projects. One very important thing is that they start by giving us the expected outcomes that we have to match. As I always say here, it says we have to contribute to all of the following expected outcomes: lower environmental impacts on soil, water, and air quality, circular use of alternative fertilizing products, best available technique for recovering and recycling fertilizing products from secondary raw materials. Okay, and here there is an explanation. There is about a couple of pages. Yeah, it's 2 pages of text, which explain you the scientific contents. Okay, as I said, today we are not concentrating so much on the scientific content. We are more looking at the documentation, how to access the portal, etc. So, let's just, yes. Is there a question?
بتحضر قاعدة مش مسجلة، مش شايفة قدامي مسجلة.
Sorry, did you ask a question? If so, I didn't understand. No? Okay. Okay, so once you have identified a call for proposals, the first thing that you have to do is to download the related documents in order to understand exactly not all the scientific and technical content, but also the rules of participation, the document that you have to fill in, etc. So you have to download or to find the call for proposals, the work program or terms of reference of the related call, the guidelines for applicants, which tell you a lot of information about how to write your proposal, of course, the application form, and the evaluation and selection criteria. Now, you will never find 5 separate documents with this name. They are merged in different ways. Some of them are not even downloadable. It's only something that you can access on the screen. Or a mix. The application form is a mix of some web-based forms that you have to fill in and some documents that you have to download and fill in and upload again. Always be very careful to download the latest versions of the documents. These documents change over time, or the information changes over time. This is one of the reasons why I always use the portals of the European Union, not simply my slides, because the portals are updated by definition. And of course, you must check that they correspond to the call and type of project that you are aiming at. I mentioned before that the topic I have selected was a so-called coordination and support action. There are basically 3 types, as you probably know, of projects in Horizon. There is the so-called the research and innovation actions, where the focus is on research. This is a real research project where you have to produce new research results. You have innovation actions, where you have to take research results, for instance, a prototype, and bring it closer to a situation where you can actually use it as a product in the civil society, etc. And you have a coordination and support action. And the documents are not always the same. So you must be very careful to check that the documents you are reading are adapted to what you want to do. So I said the first thing that you have to look at is the call for proposal. This is not a downloadable document. I'm referring to this page here. This is the text of the call. And here you have to check very carefully the type of project. This is coordination and support action. Excuse me 1 second. I want to try again to get rid of this. No way. Okay, today it was like that. Okay. So this is the call for proposal. Okay, you have the name of the call, solution 00102. You have the topic, you have the dates, and you have here a long list of other documents. And you have here also a very important button, which is partner search. As you see, 59 under this call, there are 59 organizations which have already posted partner search. So if you want, you are looking for partners, here you have the nationality, what they do, what they are looking for, from Poland, from Austria, from Italy, Polytechnic of Milan, National Research Council in Italy, Austrian company, Turkish company, and so on and so forth. Here, this is a tool. If you are looking for partners, you can start connecting with these partners. There is a button here which says contact, and try to get in touch with them, explain what you're looking for, explain why you are doing that, and your kind of sort of your expectations and things like that. It is a very powerful tool. Of course, nobody can ensure that that they will answer you, but you can. Of course, it's worth trying. The one point is that you can only contact them. This function only works if you have already logged in with your ECAS account. Okay. Okay. Now. I'm sorry, I have too many windows open. It's creating some problems. Okay. Now, the call for proposal we have seen. Now, the next thing, there is an Annex A, which provides eligibility and evaluation criteria. It's a very important document. Let's see how to access it. I'm sorry, I'm having many problems today with the sharing of the screen. Okay, we'll do the procedure again so you see it once more. I go to the Horizon Europe. Search funding and tenders. Cross-cutting priority. No funziona. Fatigue. Okay, here we are. I cannot find the Mediterranean one, which I found before. Ah, yeah, here we are. Sorry for that. Okay, and we said that we were working on this one. Okay. So the call for proposal we have seen. Okay, this is the text of the call for proposal. This is the topic which I've shown you. It's the scientific content. And then you have here very important section, general conditions. Here you have Annex A and Annex E. Actually, they are the same annex. This is a very fundamental document because it provides a lot of useful information, basic information. Okay. It is related to the work program 23-24. These documents change every 2 years. Now we are in the period 23-24. When I said, remember to download the last version, that's what I meant. If you have a version which is like 21-22, it's not good. You have to check that the program refers to this, okay? Now, here you have the conditions. First of all, admissibility. What makes your proposal acceptable? So you have to check. These are very practical things. What makes your proposals? Sorry, was that a question or what? I didn't understand what you said. Okay. So you have some very basic rule. Application must be submitted before the call deadline. That's okay. It must be submitted electronically through the portal, and we see how to access that. They must be complete, etc. Application must be readable, accessible, and printable. They must include a plan for exploitation and dissemination results, including communication activities. Very important. Page limit. Typically, it is normally specified in the application form. Typically, there is a limit for the full application of 45 pages except for coordination and support action where the limit is 30 pages and for other projects is 70. So you must check very, very well what is the page limit for your application. I have had cases of colleagues who on the day of the submission, they found out that their proposal was 60 pages and the page limit was 45, okay? And they went into panic. So always, because as you know, it's much more difficult to reduce a text than to increase a text. Huh? And also, they give you a limit about the font, because of course you could think, okay, I write in font 6 and I will reduce the amount. You cannot do that. There is a minimum font and things like that, okay? And actually, what they say is that if your proposal exceeds 45 pages, the page limit, the additional pages will not be read. You can submit it anyway, but they will not read the page from 46 on. So you must be very careful about this point. Now, eligibilities. Who is eligible to participate? Any legal entity, regardless of place of establishment, including legal entities from non-associated third countries or international organizations, are eligible for participation. You have different types. I'm not going into the detail of the specific cases because it's not so interesting at the moment, but you also have to read who is eligible for funding, okay? When they say beneficiary, to become a beneficiary means to become a partner of the project. It must be a legal entity. You cannot participate as an individual, except on specific cases in Pillar 1 for individual grants. But normally you need to be a legal entity, well established. The eligible countries are, of course, the 27 member states of the European Union, overseas countries and territories. There are a number of countries which are associated to Horizon Europe. Currently, Albania, Armenia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Faroe Islands, Serbia, Kosovo, Moldova, Montenegro, Tunisia, Turkey, Ukraine, Morocco, as far as I know, is in the process of becoming an associated country, and the United Kingdom will become an associated country at the beginning of 2024. Associated countries are treated exactly on the same footing as European Union countries. So if you were in an associated country, like in Albania or in Moldova or in Tunisia, you could participate as though you were a member of the European Union. And then there is this very, very long list of other countries, among which, of course, I think you have Libya, here you are, which are also allowed to participate, but with a certain rule, which I will show you. Consortium composition. As you probably know, in order to participate in one of these proposals, you need to set up a consortium, a group, a partnership of different partners. Now, unless otherwise provided for in the specific call condition, you might have in some calls some specific conditions. But you need normally 3 legal entities independent from each other. What does it mean? It means that you cannot have, for instance, one university in Italy and their branch in France. Let's assume that there is an Italian university which has a branch in France. This doesn't count in terms of number of countries, okay? You need, if you want to add France, you must add a French independent university, and then you can add whatever you want, okay? Established in a different country. So at least one independent legal entity in the member states, at least two other independent, each established in different member states or associated countries. And then what is not written here, well, in the case of coordination and support actions may be implemented by only one legal entity, but it must be established in a member state or associated country. As regards the participation of other countries, the rule is that you must ensure that you have the three countries, the basic setting, and then you can add organizations from other countries, especially if they are called for in the call for proposals. The call I have selected explicitly mentions the participation of Mediterranean countries which are not part of the European Union. So this is the reason why I have selected. Okay, so you need to join a consortium which has which fulfills the eligibility conditions, three organizations from three other countries, and then you can add as many other countries and organizations. But of course, you have to demonstrate why these countries are and these organizations are involved. Okay, so these are the eligibility. The other very important point is the award criteria. I always insist very much on reading the the award criteria. These are the criteria which will be given to the evaluators. You know that the evaluators are external experts which are paid by the Commission to select all the proposals that they receive. They receive normally a huge amount of proposals, and therefore they need to select them, okay? To evaluate and select them, and they use these criteria. The criteria, you have different sets of criteria for the different types of project. You see here on the left, I said before that you have three types basically of project: research and innovation actions, coordination and support. For research and innovation actions, these are basically the award criteria. Clarity and pertinence of the project objectives. Pertinence means to what extent what you propose to do fits with what the call for proposal is asking for. This is what they meant by pertinence. Extent to which the proposal work is ambitious and goes beyond the state of the art. Ambition means what it says here, going beyond the state of the art. You must be aware of what is the state of the art in the research area that you are addressing. I don't think I have to explain what is the state of the art. You all know. You must explain why your proposal is innovative with respect to the state of the art. Soundness of the proposed methodology. You will explain what is your project methodology, and it will be evaluated to see whether it is appropriate. Impact, second criterion. Credibility of the pathways to achieve the expected outcomes and impact specified in the work program, and the scale and significance of contribution from the project. You must show that the results of your project will produce an impact somewhere. It can be in your university, in the society, in any type of environment, but you must show that you know how to achieve the expected outcomes. You remember that when we read the topic, the first thing they explained was the outcomes, expected outcomes, okay? Here you have to explain how you're going to achieve these outcomes. And then suitability and quality of the measures to maximize expected outcomes and impact. This is the famous dissemination. This is something which is normally done by non-technical staff. For instance, we are not researchers. In UNIMED, we do a lot of dissemination. Dissemination and communication is how you ensure that all these results will reach the final audience. So it could be communication, exhibitions, and things like that. You see, communication activities. And the third important criteria, quality and efficiency of the implementation. Quality and effectiveness of the work plan. As you know, you have to produce a work plan with work packages, activities, deliverables. Appropriateness of the effort assigned. Here, for instance, a very important contribution can come from the administrative department in building up the budget. And you have to build up a budget which corresponds to which is appropriate for what you want to do. And then you have to collect information from the partners, and this is also an important job for the administrative component. Collect from each participant some information about the capacities, what they do, their CVs, and why the consortium as a whole brings together the necessary expertise. So here you have to perform a mapping of the expertise in your consortium and illustrate why it is appropriate. So these are the three basic criteria for research and innovation actions and innovation actions. In coordination and support actions, which is the one we saw, you have again clarity and pertinence. You don't have, of course, the ambition. You are not doing research here, but you have to show that you contribute to the objectives of the proposal. Here again, credibility of the pathways to achieve the expected outcomes. Again, very important coordination, dissemination and communication experience. And again, quality and effectiveness of the work plan, setting up a properly done work plan, role of the partners, etc. So these are the evaluation criteria against which we will be evaluated. It is important to read them, to analyze them, and to check to what extent what you want to do corresponds to this criteria. Now, the work program. I don't think, well, yeah, let's go for the work program. Now, this is the other portal. I said there are two main portals. This is the Horizon Europe portal. The one I've shown before, it was called Funding and Tenders portal. And it is the portal through which you access the call for proposals. Here you have the Horizon Europe. This is specific for Horizon Europe. Here you have the structure, okay? We were addressing, I think, number 6, cluster 6, yes. So I clicked on cluster 6, and I download the work program for cluster 6. For each one of these clusters, as you see, these clusters are thematic clusters, okay? So for each cluster, you have the so-called work program. The work program is a document which provides you the work program okay, this is the work program. It's a very bulky document. It's almost 600 pages, okay? But however, don't be scared. We are not going to read all the 600 pages. What I'm going to read is what I'm going to look at is the table of contents. There is a very good table of content which lists all the topics that have been or will be opened. Okay, now here it is 2023. All those marked 2023 have already been opened and closed. So I have to look at those which are 2024. And there are the topics, and for each topic I can find the information about the exact content and the the deadlines, etc. Okay. Now I was looking for zero pollution. Okay. Zero pollution 2023, zero pollution 20. Here we are. You see, zero pollution 102. Best available techniques to recover and fertilize, etc. If I click here, I will have exactly the same information which I had in the call for proposals, but it is more structured. Very important point. They tell me that the project should be around, for a cost of around 2 million euros. They tell me that the total budget for this call is 4 million, which means they will fund 2 projects. It's a coordination support action. And here I have the same text. Why am I showing the work program? Because as I said, you have the same information that I had in the portal, but here you have information about all the topics which are included into this cluster. So the first thing that you should do as a scientist and an academic would be to download the work programs of those clusters which you think you see here from the cluster. These are the clusters, okay? Health, culture, creativity, inclusive society, civil security, digital endurance, Spain, climate, energy, and mobility, food and bioeconomy, natural resources, and agriculture and environment. As you have seen, the first thing that you have to do is to browse those which you might think could be of your interest and have a look at whether there are some topics which are interesting for you and which, and of course, which should be opened quite quickly. You have also another important document, which is called Guidelines for Applicants. I have downloaded them, so you don't have to look for them. We're going to send you all these materials, so it's easier. And this is a document. It's 60 pages. It's not very bulky, and it brings the. First of all, I think it's very useful. There is a terminology, a glossary. What do they mean by critical risk, deliverable, impact, milestone, objectives, outcomes? Of course, you might think, why should I read the definition of objectives? It's important to read what the Commission means in terms of objectives. What do they mean by milestone? What do they mean by impact, by deliverable, etc.? So here you have some generic information. It applies to any type of call. And then what is the strategic plan? And a lot of information about, for instance, international cooperation, gender equality and inclusiveness, which is very important, and so on and so forth. So it is a reference document for what you when you write a proposal. However, one of the key elements very important ones, is the application form. So I will go back to the participant portal. Sorry, I'm going to the wrong portal here. Okay, here I am again on the participant portal. Of course, if you have questions, ask me, stop me and ask me whenever you want. So I am again on the page of the call proposal that I've selected. Okay. All these documents I've shown you are available through here. You see, there is the work program, the annexes, the program guide. Also, for administrative purposes, it might be good at looking at the annotated model grant agreement. The grant agreement is the contract that you will receive and have to sign if your proposal has been selected for funding. So here you find all the specific information about what are the rules for eligible costs, for participation, etc. So this is a document that you normally download. It's very, very, it can be very, very bulky. It's in some cases it's up to 800 pages. But for each specific item, you have a precise explanation what they mean. For instance, in terms of staff costs, you have many different cases. You have natural persons, you have employees, etc. What are the rules, how to calculate the costs, and things like that. We have already seen the partner search facility. And the key elements here is when you say, okay, start submission. I click here. I have to select it, although it's the only one. But this is the way it works. And I click on start submission. In order to do that, I must already have logged in. If I haven't logged in, it will ask for the username and password. The good thing is that if I log in, then it will remember that I'm logged in. I logged in this morning before starting the course, the lesson, the training. I have done several things, and the system remembers that I have already logged in. If I hadn't logged in, I should have had to log in again. Now, this is the page of the code. Sorry. First of all, it reminds me how many days are left before the deadline. 112 days, we have some time, okay? The deadline, don't forget, is 17 hours Brussels time, okay? So it is not a problem in Libya because you are when in Libya it is 17, in Brussels it's 16. But if you were, for instance, in Morocco, it would be the other way around, and you should close it at 4 o'clock. Huh? This is the typical trick that you shouldn't fall in. You have the name of the call. If you click here, you go back to the topic. It tells you, and one of the most important buttons on this page is this one. Download Part B templates. I click on here. And it downloads the templates. The templates are the application form, which I will have to fill in order to submit the proposal.
Scusami, Raniero, ti ho mutato per sbaglio.
Here we are. Okay. Now let's look at those templates. Oggi proprio non mi riesce. Excuse me 1 second, oggi sto a fare un casino. Ok. Excuse me 1 second. Okay. So as you have seen, I downloaded the templates for submitting the proposal. So there are 2 files, the so-called TPL application form part B, and the detailed budget table, which is the Excel file for filling in the budget. But before we go into that, I will show you the online part of the application form. Now, the application form is constituted by 3 elements. Part A, which is the online component, you cannot download it. You can download it once you have filled it in, you can download a PDF, but for uploading it, you need to do it here. The first thing, they're asking you for the peak of your organization, of your university, for instance. Now, I am selecting just one of these. This is the peak of an organization for which I've done before, proposals before. Otherwise, I should have had to insert the name and it would have found it, okay? So I'm saying that this is my first partner, okay, the coordinator. It is the main contact. I have to insert a name, I call it training proposal. I can write whatever I want. I will always be able to change it later on. So, but if you don't write something in this field, it will not go on. Okay. So I save and I go to the next step. And it tells me, please be aware that the organization you have chosen will be automatically notified at submission about their involvement in a proposal. Do you want to continue? Why is that? Because the peak is public. Everybody knows. If they know the name of your organization, they can find the peak through the European database. So I could submit a proposal pretending I am you, okay? I will never do that, but there might be people who might want to do that. And this warning tells you, be careful, because if you insert the peak of the University of Tripoli or Benghazi or Sebha, they will receive an email. They will receive a notification that someone is using their peak. So I have decided to go on, continue with this proposal, and now I have to I can add the partners. I can do it now or later on, okay? Normally, for instance, if you need 3 or 4 partners, you click on Add Partner, you give the peak, and it goes on like that, okay? Then I go to the next step. This is part A of the proposal, which is online. Edit forms. Okay, I have created a new proposal. It's called the training proposal. Part A is composed of these sections. In general information, I have to provide the name, and I can change it if I want to call it training proposal 2, I can do that. The title, up to 200 characters. This is in the acronym, a short name. This is a more extended name. The duration in months. I can select from a number of fixed keywords, and I can add some free keywords. And then I have up to 2,000 characters to present an abstract. Here, I have to present a short text, 2,000 characters, this one page, with the key elements of my proposal. Then I have to answer a number of questions. I have to declare. I am, at this point in time, I am the coordinator, okay? So I must declare that I have the explicit consent of all applicants in the participation of the proposal. As I said, I could set up a proposal with the peak of 4 different universities without them being aware of that. So here, I, the coordinator, take responsibility to say, yes, I have verified that these organizations are willing to participate. Under this respect, the coordinator could ask you to confirm in writing that you want to participate. And other other types of sorry, basic declarations. Okay. Then I save the form. Never forget to save the form each time you go to the next one. And I go back to my table of contents. Participants. For each participant, which I have already inserted at the level of the first page, I have a table. Here I only have one because I only insert one. If I had had 3 participants, I would have had 3 lines. And I have to provide some additional information. The good thing about the peak is that when you insert the peak, the system will download the administrative information they already have. So they know where you are, the address, and things like that. But you must add some detailed information about contact persons, their role, etc. And they ask us to provide a list of researchers involved in the proposal. So if you participate as a partner in a proposal, the coordinator might ask you to provide this information for the researchers that you foresee to involve in the work. When I first saw this requirement, I asked to the Commission, I said, I am not in a position to know who exactly will work on the proposal when it is approved. It might be 1 year from now. I don't know if the staff will be the same, people will be doing the same things, etc. And they answered, this is only for statistical purposes. So you will not be bound to keep those names, okay? It's just an indicative list. And then you have to fill in, so these are the researchers. You click on what kind of role you will play, role of management, research, co-definition of research market needs, etc. You click here. They ask you a list of up to 5 publications with a short description, which are relevant to the topic of the proposal that you want to work in. A list of up to 5 most relevant previous projects or main activities. For instance, if you have already participated in European projects, which were more or less on the same topic or the same area, and eventually name of infrastructure or pieces of equipment that you will make available. They ask you for a gender equality plan, which normally nobody has, and you take a commitment to implement one when, if and when the proposal is submitted. So you have to answer all these questions. And then I go back to the table of contents. So we have seen general information, the partnership, and the very important point is the budget. As you have seen, we have downloaded an Excel file which will contain the budget. For each participant that you have inserted, now we only have one, so it doesn't make, but here you will get a list of all the participants, and here you only have to insert the total amount that you request. The details will be provided in the Excel file, which we have shown before. And then there are some other fields to be filled in. Ethics and security, you have to answer questions about ethics and security. Do you involve human embroidering them, biotechnology area, or humans, data protection and things like that. And you have to answer, if you answer yes here, then you have to answer additional questions, and you have to tell the Commission which page of the proposal these types of information are shown, are dealt with. Okay. Now, I want to go back. So this was part A of the proposal. I said that when you download the proposal, the templates, you have downloaded also two other files. These two files, TPL application form and budget form. Let's have a quick look. The time is running. We are running out of time. I will show you the structure of the proposal. This is a Word file, an RTF file, so a Word file basically. With part B, this is where you describe the content of your proposal. Okay. Here you have the rules. You see the page limit. In this case, because this is a coordination support action, the page limit is 30 pages. Well, for lump sum funding is 33 pages. The formatting conditions, you see, as I said, the font should be at least Times Roman 9 or 11, I don't remember, but for Windows, etc. So what do we, here you have the definitions. What do they mean by critical risk, by a deliverable, by impact, by milestone, objectives, outcomes, pathway to impact, research output, and so on and so forth. And then we start, here you have the list of the partners. And then we start with the real content of the project. Excellence, section 1. If you look at that, it recalls the award criteria that we have seen this morning, okay? So in one page here, you have to describe the objectives of the proposed work and why are they pertinent to the work program topic. So it's very important to describe the objectives in conceptual terms and not practical terms. Just to give you an example, which I always make. I once was supporting a proposal, and they said the first objective of it was in the area of computerized production systems, computer-aided manufacturing, and they said the first objective of the proposal is to improve the quality assurance system on the production line of the factory. And the second objective will be to develop a software application, a software package, facilitating the collection of data for quality control procedure. I'm sure the engineers who are listening understand what I'm talking about. Now, the software package is not an objective. The objective is to improve the quality control procedures. The software is a result that you use in order to achieve your objectives. So here you describe the objectives. You explain why the objectives of your proposal match the topic, correspond to what the topic is expecting, is looking for. And as far as possible, they should be measurable and verifiable. You should find some indicators. Now, in a coordination support action, this is not always easy. It is easy in a scientific, you say, I want to increase the efficiency of a certain machine by 20%. This is very measurable, easy to measure, okay? But here we are talking about, for instance, policy recommendations. So it's difficult. You can say, yes, we want to produce 3 policy recommendations. This is a way of measuring the objectives. Here, you must describe the methodology. Describe and explain the coordination support measure, the overall methodology, including concepts, models, and assumptions. How you have built up your plan. And then, very important, impact. Credibility of the pathways to achieve the expected outcomes and impact. We have seen that in the topic, they described a certain number of outcomes that you must achieve. Here you must explain how you will achieve these impacts, these outcomes. If you say that your one expected outcome is to produce policy recommendations on the recycling of such and such materials, here you must explain how you will do that, okay? Here you have the measures to maximize impact. It's what I said before, dissemination, exploitation, and communication. If you are part of a European project, like you are, someone in your project has developed a dissemination plan. So you might take that dissemination plan, as a basic structure, and then it has to adapt it to any other project that you want to run. And then, well, this is the summary of what we have said before. And the third important section is, how are you going to achieve your objectives? Through the work plan. The work plan is a set of work packages. This is the basic table. You must implement a number of work packages. If you are part of the IPTCAR project. So you can look at the work plan of IPTCAR. You will have a number of work packages. Here we are, I think we are in work package 3. There will be a work package 1, 2, 3, 4. So the work plan is the way in which you demonstrate that you will be able to achieve your objectives. These are activities. A work package is an activity. They are numbered from 1 to 8, 10, what they are. The title of the work package, who in your consortium will coordinate, who is the participant, the partner who will coordinate that particular work package, the short name of the participant, the person month, start month, and end month. Person months, I hope you remember from what I said in Tunis, person months are the basis on which you build the budget. I'm sorry we ran out of time. I don't have time to go in depth in the budget. But if Martina allows me, I can maybe in one of the future sessions, we can spend 1 hour on how to develop the budget. Person months, I'll just give you this final piece of information. Person months are a way of measuring the effort, the total effort in terms of staff time. Let's assume that I have an activity which can be performed by one person working full-time for 6 months. I will say that this activity will cost 6 person months. If at all it is possible to parallelize this activity, mi chiudi? Grazie. So an activity will can be performed in 6 months by one person working full time. I say that the cost of this activity is 6 person months. Now, if possible at all, if I can split this activity into 3 parallel sub-activities, they can be performed by 3 people in 2 months, okay? But the cost in terms of staff time will be the same. It will be 6 person months, okay? If I decide that it will be carried out by only one person working half-time, it will take 12 months. But the cost will still be 6 person months. So whenever we elaborate the budget, we start through the definition of the number of person months, this total effort, which has nothing to do with the duration of the task. As I said, it can last 3 months, 2 months, or 12 months, depending on the amount of people who work on it. And it has nothing to do with the number of people. As I said, the same number of person months can be delivered by 1 person, 2 persons, 3 persons. It depends on how you organize the work. This is a very powerful means of elaborating the core of the budget, which, as I said, we could maybe see in next time. Okay, I think we have reached the time limit. So I don't know if there are burning questions that you would like to ask now. If we will send you, as Martina said, we're going to send you the slides, the documentation, the recording. So if you have additional questions, you will find my email address in the slides. Yes, there is a question. 2 questions. Martina.
Yes, I've seen Dr. Kamuria from Sirte University. Please, the floor is yours.
Go ahead. You are muted. You are muted.
Yes, thank you very much, Raniero, for this.
You are muted, but I cannot hear you.
No,
Hello.
I could hear his voice now.
Thank you
Go
very
ahead.
much, Raniero, for this presentation. Just one comment about the presentation. I think it's sort of 2 parts of presentation. One of them, how to prepare for proposal, and the second one is how to apply and manage submit your proposal.
Yeah.
And you move from part to part. To be honest, by this way we got confused somehow.
Oh.
I think it is good it is wise to separate the presentation into two parts. One of them, how to prepare for your proposal separately from submitting the proposal. We need them in separate parts, not now, in the next presentations. If possible, if they ask the partners to share their ideas how the presentation could be. We have gained a lot from this presentation, but I think we need to be more specified in one part. For example, how to prepare the proposal, it is part itself. And how to submit your proposal is a other part of the presentation should be. Just in my opinion, that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for this question. Any more questions before I?
Yes,
There is
please.
another raised hand. I see two hands. Yes, one is
Thanks,
from
Martina.
Yes, you can go ahead, and then I will give the floor to Dr. Chelli. Go on.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you, Raniero, for this fruitful presentation. Just I'd like to confirm that I mean, creating a proposal and submitting it can't be done by any partner or by associated partners. I mean, European partners. That right? Thanks.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not sure if was it a comment or a question. I was not really clear.
It's a
Pardon?
comment, I think. I think it was a comment, but I will answer the comments. Okay, let's take the next question and then I will answer.
Okay. And Dr. Chelli, please.
Good morning. Thank you very much for your interesting presentation. We benefit a lot. Just have a question regarding the criteria of a proposal. You mentioned so many criteria. These are very interesting. But under the table, what keys can make a proposal outstanding and be accepted to have funding? You can share your expertise. You have
I think
40 years.
That's a very good question. But
yeah,
if we
but
had the secret, that would have been much easier. But yes, it's a very good
this
question.
is one the point, and the other point is that we would need at least a couple of hours to answer the last question.
But a few in, Raniero, a few
Okay,
in.
now,
Thank you.
now let's start. We'll start with the first two questions about. I do realize that it can be a little bit confusing, the process I followed. However, you must realize that it is not easy to separate the preparation of the content of the proposal from the template. My goal was to provide you with the information about your final target, which is to fill in the application form. The application form is a document for which you apply, you build your proposal. Okay, so I do agree that there are two different phases: the preparation of the contents and then the submission, but they are strongly interlinked with this with each other. So maybe next time I will try to separate in a clearer way these two aspects, but they're very strongly interlinked. Now the last question about what are the tips for success. As I said, it would take another couple of hours to go in depth. However, in the first place, the first concept is matching the requirements of the topic. What do they request? I have to show that my proposal fits to the highest possible level with what the topic is asking for, in terms of contents, in terms of expected outcome, in terms of, for instance, geographical coverage, etc. That requires normally to be very, very innovative, especially in research projects. You must be very innovative. You cannot submit a proposal with something which has already been done, or which is more or less on the market or in society. I once ran an exercise with some researchers, and when I asked them to find a project idea, one of them said, in terms of information technology applied to the world of education, he said we could set up a project in order to transfer all the textbooks of students, school students, of pupils, into a tablet. Okay. Now, this cannot be a research project. It's very easy to do nowadays. The Commission will never find something like that. Okay, you have to go really, really above the presentation, the state of the art. This is why the reason why it's very important to describe very well the state of the art, and to make sure that you are going beyond the state of the art. It's very innovative what you want to do. The other point is the strength of the partnership. You have to show that the partners, all the partners, have the knowledge, the experience, the prestige to achieve the objectives. Okay. And last but not least, the clarity of the presentation. It must be readable. It must be easy to read. If you write in a way which is difficult to understand because it is too sophisticated, too complicated, etc. I have this case in Italy. In Italy, when we write for a public administration, we tend to use what we call the ministerial language. It's very complicated, it's very difficult to understand. You have to go more or less in the British approach, go straight to the point to say what you want to do so that the reader understands quickly what you want to achieve. Okay, so these are just a few hints. Of course, there are many, many more, but if you stick to these, you are already in a good position. Okay, any more questions? If not, Martina, I think we can close.
There is still one hand. Dr.
Sure.
Malhet El Jafari. I'm sorry for my pronunciation, but please be free to ask your question.
For your presentation. I just have one question, which is how important or how mandatory to give a proposal very stick to our original academic. I'm a pharmacist, but I'm interested in psychology, and I'm taking now a degree in psychology. Is it important when I apply the name of the university, I mean, like not in a personal researcher, to stick to a certain my original academic? I don't know if you understand.
Yeah, no, it's, your question is very clear.
Yeah.
The evaluation does not focus on the individual researcher. It focuses on the department or on the university, okay? So if you are changing your affiliation, this is not a problem. The important thing is that the department which participates into the proposal shows that they have the knowledge, the experience in the particular discipline which is related to the topic. The Commission likes very much interdisciplinary proposals, but it is important to show that the contribution, even if you are in a different discipline, it is important to show that you produce a direct contribution to the objectives of the project. I'll give you just as an example. In many proposals, which are of the scientific nature, they often say that they would like also cooperation with social sciences and humanities if they are dealing with some topics which can have an influence on everyday's life. This is typical in medicine, okay? medical systems are scientific and technical systems which have an impact on the everyday life of citizens. So if you mix these two, but the important thing is that each department, each faculty, which is involved in the project, brings a direct contribution based on their own experience. You have to explain why. Okay, it's not on the individual researcher. It's not on you. It is on the department which is submitting the proposal, which is participating in the proposal. Okay. Okay, I cannot hear you, but I understand you are smiling, so I think I answered your question. Any more questions?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Nero. Clear enough. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you. Any more questions?
Right now, I don't see any more hands, and there are a lot of thank yous in the chat. So I'm
Yeah, I've
happy
seen
that.
that. Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you.
Congratulations to you, Raniero.
Thank you.
And I think if
Because-
there is no further questions, we can close the session. And well, you have our contacts. You have both my contact and Raniero's one, but we will send again our contacts along with the presentations and all the material. Just give us a couple of days to pack it all, and then we will send it to you. And for any further, not only questions, but only if you need any support or if you need any advice, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. So thank you again for your participation. We had more than 60 trainees today, so it was a very great result. So thank you again.
Very big
and
success.
we wish you a great weekend, since it's opening the weekends for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.